Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, here with another GE Top 25 poll. Our official rankings from us here at the Gridiron Expert, solely based on our thoughts and our system alone. Nothing to do with the AP poll, nothing to do with the playoff committee when those rankings come out, solely based on our thoughts and our system right here at the channel. And guys, after a wild week 6 that saw the number 1 team in the country go down in Alabama, along with 5 other ranked teams, there were a lot of shakeups in our rankings going into week 7. And we're here to break all those down for you today as we prepare for another weekend of college football, here to break down our new top 25, share our thoughts on every team, and justifying our rankings. And we can't wait to hear from you on them as well. So again, guys, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. As always, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. All of those help out our channel so much and continue to help build our channel and reach as many college football fans as possible. So make sure you do that, and make sure to check out everything down in the description below as well, including signing up for those expert picks. We are fresh off a 7-3 week against the spread in college. Did pretty solid against the NFL as well. Again, the expert picks can be found on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Some of the best college and NFL spread picks in the country. And that has been our motto and has been the exact stat for the last 3 years now. Some of the best picks in the country over on thegridironexpert.com. So make sure you go sign up for those today. Don't miss out on this week's picks. They come out every single Wednesday. I can promise you it will be one of the best decisions you make all year long. So make sure to go sign up. Again, the expert picks over on thegridironexpert.com. So let's take a look at our rankings, guys. We're going to take a look at our GE Top 25 heading into Week 7. And let's just dive into it. We'll start on this first column here, the top 10. There's a new number 1. There's a new number 1 in town, and it's no surprise. It is the Georgia Bulldogs. And I will tell you this. Had Alabama defeated Texas A&M, with the way Alabama was playing, had they won, 38-31, had they won 41-38, had they won overtime, I could guarantee you that I would have moved Georgia ahead of Alabama. So regardless of the outcome in College Station, Georgia was going to be our number 1 team. Alabama lost, made our decision a little bit easier. The Bulldogs number 1, undisputed. 6-0, they just defeated number 18 Auburn 34-10 on the road. The week before, they took down Arkansas, who was number 8 in the country at the time, took them down 37-0. Georgia is the best team in the country right now by a long shot. They are, by a large margin, the best team in the country, and that has continued to show week in and week out. So they're up 1 spot, up to number 1. Iowa is the number 2 team in the country, up 1 spot for us in our rankings. They took down number 4 at the time, not in our rankings, number 4 Penn State, 23-20. Again, a low-scoring game. The Hawkeyes trailed 17-3 at home, battled all the way back, scored the game-winning touchdown with about 6.5 minutes left. They are number 2 and deserve to be. We said the winner of Iowa and Penn State would solidify themselves as the 3rd best team in the country. Well, that was when we assumed that Alabama would beat Texas A&M. We assumed Alabama and Georgia would both take care of business. Alabama did not. So Iowa is not number 3, they are number 2. And they will probably stay that way for a long, long time. Cincinnati up at number 3. Some will think that's too high. Some will say the Bearcats don't deserve this spot. I think they do. I genuinely think they do. The road win at Indiana means a lot. Even if Indiana's overrated or hasn't lived up to expectations, it's still a double-digit 14-point victory against a Power 5 school on the road. They beat them. Obviously, the win against a top 10 Notre Dame team was the most impressive of the two. The Bearcats are 5-0. They beat Temple 52-3, so they're taking care of business in dominating fashion against teams that they should be doing. Oklahoma can't say the same. But Cincinnati is taking care of business the way they should, and the Bearcats are number 3 in our rankings. I don't think they should be disputed. Maybe 4 at the worst, but they are a top 4 team in the country right now. Oklahoma is number 4 for us. They're up 2 spots, up to 6-0. They are 6-0 in the country. They just defeated Texas 55-48. Remember, the Sooners were down 21 points in that game. They were down 18 points at halftime. Lincoln Riley chose to sub out Spencer Rattler, put in Caleb Williams, and the rest is history. Oklahoma literally ran to victory in that game, scoring the game-winning touchdown with 3 seconds left. The Sooners are up 2 spots, number 4 for us. I couldn't justify keeping Penn State, moving them into the top 4. They were 5th in our rankings last week, and we kept the Nittany Lions there this week. Penn State's not going to move up in the rankings after a loss. That's not going to happen. But I don't believe the Nittany Lions deserve to fall. So Oklahoma, who was 6th in our rankings last week, We jumped them ahead of Penn State. They are a top 4 team for us now. Big win over Texas. And again, say what you want, Oklahoma isn't winning games in dominating fashion, maybe like they should, but they're still 6-0. They're still undefeated. As long as they have that big fat goose egg in the loss column, that's all that matters. So Oklahoma there. Penn State, they did lose to Iowa, but they fought super, super hard. They were up 17-3. Then their quarterback gets hurt in Sean Clifford. You can't help but wonder if he doesn't go down early in the game, does Penn State win that game? Can't help but wonder that. Maybe he could have moved the ball a little bit better. So Penn State, to me, does not deserve to move down at all following that loss. And before you freak out about that, let's keep in mind the AP poll, not that we want to associate much with them, but a few weeks ago, Florida only lost to Alabama by 2 points. The Gators did not move at all in the rankings. So it does happen. Teams can lose and not move, and we had that happening here with Penn State. Michigan in at number 6. They are up a spot for us. They were 7th in the country for us last week. Went on the road, took down a pesky Nebraska team who's getting there, but isn't there quite yet. But gave Michigan all they could handle in Lincoln on Saturday. Michigan surviving 32-29. 32-29 over Nebraska, and 22-19. I screwed up those scores. That was Notre Dame. 22-19 over Nebraska, but Michigan 6-0. They're the real deal in the Big Ten East. And again, it's Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, and Michigan State. That Big Ten East is going to be very, very difficult to win. But the Wolverines are looking like the real deal, and we do have them above Alabama. Look, guys, I can't justify keeping Alabama in my top 4. I can't justify keeping them in my top 5. Alabama was a 17.5-point favorite going into a Texas A&M team to play them. They've lost 2 games in a row to Arkansas and Mississippi State. They had put up less than 300 yards in each of those 2 games. Zach Calzada wasn't doing anything. And this Alabama team, who dominated one of the best offenses in the country the week before in Ole Miss, was leading 35-0 at one point, walks into College Station, commits a few early turnovers, finds themselves down 10 early, and never is able to battle back. They took the lead with 5 minutes left, and A&M ended up scoring the final 10 points, including game-winning field goal as time expired. I can't justify taking an Alabama team and keeping them at 4 or 5 or even 6. They don't deserve to fall out of the top 10 by no means. This is still a good Alabama team, and I think their offense would annihilate Ohio State's defense. That's why Ohio State's not above them. I still think Alabama's offense would annihilate Ohio State. I still think Alabama would beat Oregon. They might even beat Michigan, but I can't justify having them above the Wolverines right now. Alabama's still a top 10 team, but we have them all the way down at 7th. 7th in the country. Obviously plenty of time to build back up, but the Crimson Tide down 6 in our rankings following the shocking loss to Texas A&M. Oregon is still in at number 8. They did not move, and neither did Ohio State. I don't believe in punishing teams for having a bye week. Obviously, unless I feel that a team is just that much better or got a very, you're on a bye week and a team behind you got a big signature win that they deserve to jump you. But if they didn't, I don't believe in that. And I do believe in the head-to-head results. And we're going to honor that. Oregon went on the road and beat Ohio State. So unless Ohio State just maybe plays, coming out Penn State and annihilates Penn State, that would be, for me, worthy cause for Ohio State to jump Oregon. Until we see something like that, Oregon will remain over Ohio State unless the Ducks slip up again somewhere. I believe in the head-to-head. We honor the head-to-head, unlike the AP poll, unlike the playoff committee. Oregon was on a bye. They don't move. Yes, Ohio State beat Maryland. Congratulations. You beat them, 66-17? Iowa did practically the exact same thing, 51-14. Maryland's just not that good. They're not up to the standards of the elite in the Big Ten that people thought they could be. We did not, but some people did. So Ohio State, congrats. You did that. To me, not worthy enough of jumping the team that beat you. Ohio State, if you had done that against a top 25 team, yeah, you're jumping Oregon. You're higher than that. But again, I still believe Alabama is better than Ohio State. The Buckeyes are getting there. They look a lot better, but to me, not worthy enough of moving in our rankings right now. Still at number 9. Michigan State, though, they did move into the top 10. They moved up 3 spots for us. Went on the road, took down Rutgers, a team they lost to last year, beat them 31-13 in Piscataway. Michigan State did a great job taking care of the ball. They did a great job with Kenneth Walker. My God, put him in the Heisman race. This guy is truly unbelievable. That 94-yard touchdown run was unreal for the Spartans. Again, 31-13 at Rutgers. Michigan State 6-0, guys. To me, they are a top 10 team, which means they are in the college football playoff discussion. And yes, they have yet to play Penn State. They've yet to play Ohio State. They have yet to play Michigan. They've yet to play the 3 biggest competitors in the Big Ten East. But they can compete with those guys. And they win 1, maybe 2 of those, and you're looking at a potential Big Ten championship, maybe even a playoff berth. The Big Ten East, guys, look at them. Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, all 4 of them are in our top 10, which means that division and that race is about to get really, 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 really interesting over these next few weeks. But the Spartans playing some fantastic football, balanced on both sides of the ball, top 10 team in our eyes. Moving over to the second column here, we'll go a little quicker. Oklahoma State, they were on a bye week. Again, really don't believe in punishing teams for having a bye unless there's someone that's behind them that truly is worthy of jumping them based on their performance that week. Didn't really see anybody like that. Michigan State was one actually that did jump Oklahoma State. Didn't really feel like the Cowboys needed to move in the top 10 though. So still sticking at 11th. Big game against Texas coming up in week 7. Kentucky moving up to number 12, up 6 spots from our rankings. We put them in there after their big win over Florida. And we said, all right, now let's see what you got. Was that a fluke? You're playing an LSU team that's not great, but for some people it's still LSU. And Kentucky manhandled them 42-21 in Lexington. Dominant victory from start to finish. LSU never led. Will Levis is the key for Kentucky. He has been the difference maker for Kentucky. So yes, Kentucky at 6-0, we do have at 12th in the country, and we believe they deserve that spot. And let's keep in mind that Week 7 provides us with an unbeaten 6-0 showdown between our number 1 team and will be the number 1 team, Georgia, against number 12 Kentucky. Potentially the SEC East Championship game in Athens on Saturday afternoon. Big, big game between Kentucky and Georgia. The Wildcats are the real deal. And if you look at their schedule, guys, yes, they're probably not going to beat Georgia. Miracles happen. Crazy things happen. Just ask Texas A&M. It can happen. But say Kentucky loses, an 11-1 season is not out of the question. It really isn't. And that's crazy to think about. Ole Miss in at 13. We have the Rebels up 3 after their thrilling 52-51 victory over Arkansas. The Razorbacks scored the touchdown as time expired, chose to go for 2 to go for the win. Wasn't able to get it. The Ole Miss defense hadn't been holding strong all day, but held strong on that 2-point conversion play, got the win over what was then the 13th ranked Razorbacks. We believe Ole Miss jumps up to 13. Again, that offense, guys, extremely, extremely tough to stop. So the Rebels in at 13. Notre Dame and Coastal did not move. We kept Notre Dame at 14. We kept Coastal at 15. You can make an argument that both should have moved up. But Notre Dame needed a late field goal to beat Virginia Tech. Not to say Virginia Tech's a bad team, but the Fighting Irish, again, had to take out Jack Cohn, put him back in. Quarterback issues all the way around after bouncing back after that loss to Cincinnati. I couldn't find a way to justify moving Notre Dame up, especially with performances of Kentucky and Ole Miss. Same with Coastal Carolina. They beat up on a really, really bad Arkansas State team. Again, a big win, put up nearly 700 yards of offense. Extremely impressive. But I couldn't justify moving them ahead of anybody ahead of them. Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Kentucky. Couldn't justify that despite the big win. And that's the unfortunate thing with some of these group of 5 schools, guys, is they're putting up big numbers, they're getting big wins, but when they're beating up on their lower level competition, when you're beating up on poor schools within their conference, it's going to be hard to move up in those rankings when teams ahead of them that are in Power 5 conferences are beating up on relatively quality other Power 5 teams. That's just something to kind of keep in mind. That's why, unfortunately, teams like Coastal and Cincinnati and guys like that don't always get as much respect in the rankings. We're trying to give them as much as we can. I believe they deserve it, but why they don't always get as much because the people around them are beating higher quality opponents. All about strength of schedule, all about that resume. That's why Cincinnati's a legitimate contender this year, because they have 2 already quality resume victories. Coastal Carolina in at 15. Arkansas we have in at 16. The Razorbacks dropped 4 spots in our rankings from 12th to 16th. They are 4-2. Again, narrowly lost to Ole Miss 52-51. Arguably the game of the year, arguably the game of the week in Week 6. The Razorbacks are still the real deal, guys. Now, if they fall to Auburn in Week 7, they come back and talk to me. They're going to fall out of our rankings. They'll fall out of the AP Top 25. But to go on the road and nearly take down a good Ole Miss team, nearly taking down that offense, again, neither defense showed up, but the Razorbacks matched them step for step. Losing by 1 point on the road against a top 20 team, to me, does not justify falling that far in the rankings. I believe the Razorbacks are the real deal, and I believe this is a team that can beat Auburn, can win their next game against UAPB, can win their next game against Mississippi State, can win their next game against LSU. You win that, the Razorbacks are 8-2 going into the road game against Alabama. And again, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I do believe this Arkansas team is for real across the board. Just 2 very difficult road games have stumped them the last 2 weeks. Wake Forest in at 17 might be able to win the Atlantic Division in the ACC. The Demon Deacons are 6-0, but survived Syracuse 40-37 in overtime. So again, that's not why we didn't move Wake Forest up. But if I put them on the field right now, I would pick Arkansas over Wake Forest. I might even I'd pick Notre Dame over Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons are good. Might even go on to win the ACC. That's extremely possible. But right now, Wake Forest really hasn't played anybody extremely noteworthy. Again, all the credit in the world to Dave Clawson and the Demon Deacons. They're going to get there, and they're going to have a chance to prove us. But right now, they do not deserve to move up in our rankings. They stay at 17. Florida up 2 spots to number 18. 4-2 on the year, defeated Vanderbilt 42-0. Baylor up 6 spots in our rankings. Baylor dropped out of the AP Top 25 last week. We kept them in at 25th. They fell to Oklahoma State, and we said, look, it's a 10-point loss on the road against a good Oklahoma State team. They're still a top 25 team in our eyes. They proved that on Saturday. I love this Baylor team. I absolutely love what Dave Aranda is doing in Waco, and they beat a solid West Virginia team 45-20. 45-20. A lot of people were hammering West Virginia against the spread, and we said, no. Baylor, you're only favored by 3. That is a steal. We hammered Baylor. They did not disappoint. The Bears are legit. Big game against BYU on Saturday. Again, 9-19, number 20 in our rankings, but I like the Bears a lot. Up 6 spots, they're doing great things in Waco, and that showed on Saturday. 19th for us. They are a top 20 team. They take on BYU, who for us dropped 10 spots after the 9-point loss to Boise State. The Cougars committed 4 turnovers. 2 of those were fumbles. A lot of them were fumbles, but 2 fumbles led to 14 Boise State points. The Cougars were outscored 26-7 after jumping out to a 10-0 lead, and that was in Provo. Lost at home in Provo. So BYU, a lot of people questioned them being at number 10. I said, let's give them a chance. Let's see how they fare against Boise State, a team whose record I don't think indicates how good they really are. And Boise State proved that their record did not indicate how good they were. They went on the road and took down BYU and took them down comfortably. So the Cougars dropping 10, have a chance to start moving up though, but they have to beat Baylor on the road, and that's not going to be easy. The last 5 teams here. Arizona State up to 21. They moved up a few spots. 2 spots for us after their win over Stanford, 28-10. The Sun Devils are the favorite now, or have been for a while, but certainly are now in the Pac-12 South. Herm Edwards doing great things with Jayden Daniels and his Sun Devils. They are up to 21. NC State had a bye week. Again, no reason for them to move, either up or down. I believe Arizona State deserved to jump them after the dominant win over Stanford. Remember, the week before had defeated Oregon. So Arizona State over NC State. Texas A&M in at 23. One team dropped out of our top 25. One team dropped out. That was SMU. The Mustangs beat Navy. They beat Navy, but only beat them by 7. I was not impressed with SMU at all. We only had them in at 24th. I felt that it justified to drop them out for now until they can start playing a little bit better, beating teams better than they should, and bump in the team that beat the number 1 team in the country. Now, we're filming this on Sunday night, late Sunday night, well before the AP polls come out. And again, we don't have anything to do with the AP poll. We don't alter our rankings based on the AP poll. But most people, because A&M defeated Alabama, will propel them from unranked to 20th, to 18th, to maybe as high as 15th. And that's absolutely ridiculous. And I hope that's not the case. We don't know, but hopefully that's not the case. A&M deserves to be ranked 23rd for us. They do not deserve to be ranked more than 20th. They do not deserve to be ranked higher than 20th in the country. Congratulations, you beat number 1 Alabama. That's a huge accomplishment that not many people can do. But you've also lost to Arkansas, and you also lost at home to Mississippi State, which to me is a much worse loss than Arkansas, who is still a top 20 team. So congrats. Again, you beat the number 1 team in the country. You deserve to be ranked. But just because you beat number 1 Alabama does not mean that you are now one of the top teams in the country. Does not mean that you are now one of the top teams in the SEC. A&M is at 23rd for us, and we don't believe they should be much higher. 20th at the best for the Aggies. They have a chance to build on that, but they do not deserve to catapult in the rankings from unranked to very high now because of one victory, even if it was over the number 1 team in the country. And let's keep that in mind as we go into Week 7 and through the rest of the year, because A&M will lose again. A&M will lose again. Texas in at 24. I did not feel that Texas or Auburn, both teams lost, did not feel that either deserved to drop out. Texas at 24th, dropping 5 spots after the loss to Oklahoma. Yes, they blew it against the Sooners. They were leading by 18 at halftime. The talent is there for Texas. The talent is there for Texas. And I believe wholeheartedly the talent is there because of Bijan Robinson and the switch they made at quarterback, putting in Casey Thompson. So yes, Texas blew a 21-point lead. Yes, they blew an 18-point halftime lead. I still believe Texas is the real deal, and they can get to that Big 12 championship game. We had them at 19th. I don't believe they deserve to drop out. Same for Auburn. We had them at 21st. We had them as our last team in the top 25 because Auburn put 10 points on Georgia. Auburn put 10 points on Georgia. They scored a touchdown on Georgia. Arkansas can't say that. Not many teams can say that. Clemson can't say that. Auburn scored just the second touchdown on Georgia all year long. So yes, they lost by 24 at home. But Auburn still put up a solid fight, only trailed by 14 in the third quarter, still put up 10 points. Again, that's saying something against one of the best defenses in the country. So Auburn showed a lot of fight in that game, showed a little bit of potential, have a chance to climb back in the rankings with a winnable game at Arkansas in Week 7. But the Tigers, to me, deserve to barely hang on the top 25 because of their performance at Jordan-Hare Stadium against the now number 1 team in the country. So there you have it, guys. Brand new top 25 entering Week 7, straight from us here at the Gridiron Expert. Again, nothing to do with the AP poll. We haven't even seen that one yet. Nothing to do with the AP poll. Nothing to do with the playoff committee when that time comes. Solely from us here based on our thoughts, our opinions, and our own personal system. These are our rankings heading into Week 7. Let's hear your thoughts. Leave them in the comments below. And let's gear up for another chaotic week of college football because if the last few weeks have taught us anything, it is any given Saturday. No one is safe. Expect the unexpected because why not? So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. And of course, check out everything down in the description below. Sign up for those expert picks if you have not already. Again, some of the best picks in the entire country for the last 3 years. It will be one of the best decisions you make all year long. So make sure to go sign up for those today before our picks come out on Wednesday. GridironExpert.com, expert picks, sign up for them. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.